Yeah.
What's up, party animals? Let's forget about all the bad decisions you made this past weekend and join the gang as we go beyond the party. You're now listening to the Beyond the Party podcast.
Is it going?
It's going. So all you guys.
All right.
Woo!
Awesome. Let's go. We're back.
Season 2.
Beyond the Party, Season 2. We are back. We are getting busy, and we're ready to go. I'm here with my co-host, Grace.
Hi.
And we're also here with our very special guest, DJ Mike Lowry.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Mike? How you doing? How was your weekend?
Great. Busy, so can't complain at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Grace?
It was good. Also busy, but more calm than usual because we just closed our pop-up bar this weekend. So I had a day to breathe before the next one.
Nice,
so,
nice. A little more calm, yeah.
Yeah.
First thing I wanted to do before we really jump into, Mike, your career and all that kind of stuff. We didn't get a chance to really do a New Year's podcast or anything. So I wanted to kind of talk about our New Year's resolutions and what we want to focus on going into 2024 and what we want to kind of leave in 2023.
Love that.
Yeah, but I guess I'll go first and let you guys think a little bit since I just threw it at you.
Yeah.
But for me, if you saw my Instagram post, my New Year post, I really said 2024 is about just balancing everything in my life. And 2023 was kind of finding out how to do that, even if it was putting some things on hold and focusing on other things a little more and kind of just prioritizing everything, that benefits my mental health, my physical health, and everything like that. And 2024 is kind of using that knowledge now of knowing how to balance everything to benefit me as much as possible. And, that's career-wise, that's personally, with my family, everything. So balance is my main thing in 2024.
That's great. Nice. Why don't you go from my next?
Sure. You wanted some more time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound a little cliche, but health, I'm not going to say fitness. Everybody has those kind of things. For me, it's definitely been health, overall health, mental and physical, spiritual health as well. And mindfulness, and not always just mindfulness as far as being present, but also mindfulness of my behaviors, what those triggers are, what they've done for me, what they haven't done for me in the past, and why I might need to let some of them go.
Nice.
Yeah.
How have you put that into action already since it's been, a month and a half now?
Yeah. So I got a head start on it. And one of which is cutting out alcohol, which Grace, you know about that journey for me. So that's been big, and I just was doing it for, I don't know what reason I thought I was doing it for, but I thought at first it was just physical, and the mental part of it that opened up for me it's actually been kind of scary, but.
You're telling me. I completely agree.
It's a little too much clarity for me sometimes.
Yeah.
I would like things to be a little fuzzy again, but I'm also happy that it brought me that. So it leads back to what I was talking about with those different behavioral patterns and stuff I wasn't accomplishing and why I wasn't accomplishing it, whether career wise or otherwise. So
how many days are you at?
80.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
And this is with the 75 hard process, right?
Not intentionally, no. It happened because I thought about doing 75 hard after my birthday. Okay. It was a big birthday for me, the big 4-0. So I was like, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
You wouldn't think so if you looked at it.
Oh, well, thank you. It's really good lighting in here, but
25.
Yeah. So that was part of it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do 75 hard, and then it seemed really daunting. And then I had a couple rough nights, and just was like, hey man, you're not even having fun right now.
Right.
And I do have fun drinking. Drinking's awesome. It's a great time, but I wasn't having fun. And I was like, but what am I doing? What's the point? Yeah. And I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm not anti-anybody who drinks. I'm not the person that's like, you should put that down. You've had too much. Have another shot. Go ahead.
I'm the one handing out shots.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the worst influence now. Yeah. But yeah, so it came from that. And then I do dry January every year for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was doing it as sort of 75 hard, where it was a competition with myself.
Right.
But the problem was I'm just a competitive person, so I was just doing it for the competition and not for a greater reason.
Okay.
So on day 31, dry January would last all dry January. And then on February 4th, we have to celebrate Jason Weiss's birthday every year. And then I get wasted. I blame him every year for my relapse. And I think it's 4th, right? I'm gonna mess it up. I feel bad. But yeah, so every year it would be all right, well, I'm drinking again because it's Jay's birthday.
Yeah.
And this year on December 1st, I was like, all right, we'll do dry December then. See how that feels.
Yeah.
And then January came around, I was like, I don't want to drink.
And just keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Did you try dry January too?
I tried. Yeah.
You tried.
I definitely
try.
broke it,
You're
but
young.
no, I think I drank like twice in January, maybe.
Okay.
I know you were. Like,
It was a
trying
good
to-
dry. It was a drier January.
Right. Dry January was really popular this year.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
more than I have ever seen. Maybe I'm just more in tune to it now because I don't drink anymore.
Sure.
But honestly, it was so popular this year. I felt like every single person I know was doing it and like doing it like for the whole of January.
Really?
Like working at the bars, honestly, I mean, you
Yeah.
tell me too, but like we did not see people for the first 3 weekends in January. Like more so than we've ever not
Yeah, it was slower. And that's the catch-22. Like, I love it, but then I'm like, please come out and get drunk because
No, I know, right?
like
Or
what I
just come
do.
out. Like you don't have to drink. Like that's
don't
the
have
thing
to.
is like I would invite my friends out to come hang out with me, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing dry January, and I'm like, okay, and like I'm
come
here every
out.
weekend.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Life, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
dry life. Like
Yeah.
so, I was like, yeah, what are you gonna do when you start drinking again? And it's like,
Hey,
What would
people
you
are-
say your biggest tips are, Grace, for somebody that doesn't want to drink but they still want to go out to bars and have fun and dance and get
So
crazy?
yeah, it's kind of a tough answer because of one, my personality, and two, my job. So
Mm-hmm.
I obviously work in nightlife, so I have a great excuse. Like the first
Mm.
month I was going out, like, and obviously all the bartenders were like, let's do shots. Like I take videos. Like the reason I stopped drinking is because the last night I went to Ubon,
Yeah.
I took every shot I took a video of and don't remember that or the next or the day
Yeah.
after that. So like going out and saying, okay, well, I can't drink because I'm working was such a great excuse for so long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, DJ also like, oh, I can't drink, I'm working. Like,
Yeah, it's-
even if it's like not like actually true, like, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely could have drank on the job if I wanted to, but I didn't want to, and
Yeah.
it was a great excuse. Like, so that was kind of my
Yeah.
excuse. But also, I'm also like a very outgoing person in general. Like, I
Right.
don't really I'm very blessed not to have social anxiety when I'm out at a club. Like, dancing, like I love to dance, like I love to like have fun, and I never like struggled with that, like
Yeah.
going out at night. So I think it's much tougher for people who do really struggle with that, and
Yeah.
like I have best friends who feel like they need a drink 2 or 3 to take the edge off. Like that's so popular. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
like me
Oh, yeah.
giving advice to people would be very different than someone who really does struggle with that giving advice to people, because I can always say, oh, just go out and dance, be with your friends,
Yeah.
have fun, but
Yeah.
like that's so different for me than it would be for someone who really struggles with that. So
Yeah.
I'm never judging anybody for doing what they need to do when they're having fun, but
Right.
I will say the longer I didn't drink going out, the less anxiety I did have about going out.
same.
Now it's like I think I was more worried about people judging me or being worried about what I was drinking or being worried about me having fun, and now I'm kind of like it really isn't a problem anymore because I'm so used to it now that it's like I just grab a Sprite or a water or a Red Bull and nobody asks me anything because I have something in my hand, and if someone does ask, and I usually just say, oh, I'm here, I don't drink, I'm just here for the vibes, done, and that's it.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
more
love
questions.
it.
It shuts
Yeah.
it down. Always.
Yeah, I've noticed the phrasing helps too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't drink invites them into the conversation. Not that I don't want to have the conversation with them, but I sometimes don't want to have the conversation
No,
with them.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I've been saying I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a one night thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't
I'm
have
not
to
drinking
explain to
that.
them like how long I'm not drinking for.
I get that.
Because truthfully, I don't know how long I'm not drinking for. It might be another week, it might be another year, it might
Yeah.
be forever. I honestly have no idea. But
Yeah.
like if I say I'm not drinking, they're like, oh no, that's okay. don't worry
Really,
about it."
I
Yeah.
actually feel the opposite because sometimes if I said like I'm not drinking, like for the one night they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, why? But if I say I don't drink, people automatically
they leave me
assume
alone.
I'm an alcoholic and don't want to ask anymore, even though I
Oh,
wasn't.
it's like
I
immediate
didn't stop
sympathy.
drinking. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
Me-
had a
me neither.
problem.
Yeah.
But it was for health reasons. But honestly, like I think people just don't automatically assume it's a touchy subject when you say I don't drink,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
Well, okay.
and then they don't ask any more questions.
I can see that.
So I think it goes both ways, definitely.
Yeah.
Are there any good like alternatives like at bars, like non-alcoholic drinks?
Mocktail.
Oh
Seltzers and
yeah!
stuff. Love some
oh my
mocktail.
gosh, yes. So honestly, I'm a big fan of starting the night off with a Red Bull. It gets me going, like
Yeah.
'cause honestly, alcohol is depressant anyway. So having a little
Sure.
bit of Red Bull is like making me kind of like excited and like fun. It's like having a coffee before you go out, right? Or like in the morning. I love to get a Sprite with a little splash of cranberry because I still feel like I'm drinking a little cocktail while I'm out, but
Yeah.
without the disgusting aftertaste. Just to suck it down. But also, so many restaurants lately have been putting mocktails on their menus. Like
Yeah, I've noticed.
I know we just added a bunch of mocktails to our menus for like our pop-up bars and other stuff. I know Scholson has a bunch of them on their lists now.
Mm-hmm.
So even like did like a little series on TikTok going around doing a mocktail series. But
Nice.
but yeah, I think it's just becoming so much more popular. People are so much less likely to be drinking now during the week. Like people are just leaving it for the weekends. Like I honestly think that health first is such a trend now.
Yeah.
And like if you see all those like 2024 ins and outs lists on like TikTok and Instagram stuff, more than half of them have mocktails in, binge drinking out. Like that's just like kind of the thing. And I mean, like I'm turning 28 in a couple of days, but that's like, thank you. But honestly, I think in my age range, especially like women in my age like range have been very more health centered. And I think it is just a trend lately.
Yeah. It's good to see.
It just helps so much too. Like I've noticed, like after a night of not drinking, you wake up, you feel motivated and you're productive. And after a night of drinking, I just want to lay in bed all day. Or not even if I'm not laying in bed all day, I'm walking around and I'm just like.
You might as well be laying in bed all day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're just dazed and you don't want to do anything and can't really think straight. It's crazy how it affects your entire day after. Like
honestly, more than you think. Like not just your day, but like for like months. So
Yeah.
I'm 9, maybe almost 10 months without alcohol now. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was saying how there was such like a long period of time where I could not remember my childhood at all. Like I would, like my parents would be asking me questions, or like my sisters would say a memory, and I'd be like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. Like when did that happen? And I had gone so long with drinking, I didn't put the two together. But the other day, my dad texted me asking if I knew the name of this girl because he had hired her brother and he thought he recognized her name because we went to high school together. And immediately I was like, oh yeah, that girl, yeah, she is friends with this girl, and we were also on the same soccer team when we were 5. We were wearing the purple jerseys. And my dad was like, oh my God, yeah, like how did you remember that? And I had like a click moment, like literally like maybe like 6 months ago, there's no way in hell I would have remembered that. And it's so amazing to see my memories coming back from when I was a kid and from when I was in high school, because since I, started college, I think there wasn't like more than a week I had gone without like drinking and then binge drinking. Cause like, that's, what the age
binge
was
drinking especially,
and going out was, and like, it was normalized. It's very normal in Philly to do that. Honestly, it's like now after 10 months, it took me 10 months for my body and my brain to start like kind of like recirculating and regenerating, that I'm actually bringing back memories from my childhood.
That's
now.
insane. Yeah. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Wow. Just like a little fun fact that that'll happen. I'm thinking for a long time.
That clarity is super scary.
Yeah, definitely.
Scary, but in a good way.
Oh yeah, it's scary good, but it's scary.
It's scary for sure. Yeah.
It freaked me out for sure. I remember like it was like 2 weeks into it. Like I'd done obviously like the little 30-day detoxes, but for whatever reason this felt different. And 2 weeks into it was like a Sunday. Now everyone kind of like runs errands and does stuff on Sundays anyway. But when you're drinking all weekend and binge drinking all weekend, you're probably not as productive with those errands. And it was like midday on a Sunday, and I'd gotten like a million things done. Yeah. And I was like sat in my car in the parking lot, wherever I was at, like shopping somewhere. Yeah. I was like, why am I so productive? And
something's wrong.
I was like, oh shit, like that's why, right? Yeah. Like, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together that was why. And then now it's like, it sounds kind of like corny or whatever, but now before like the weekends would feel a certain way and weekdays would feel a certain way. Because I knew what I would do to my body on a Friday and Saturday night. Yeah. So like my Saturdays and Sundays felt different than my Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesdays. And really, especially with age too, I don't have to tell you, like it takes longer. So like there would be times where like, we would, like me and Jason are around the same age. Like, we would joke and say like, hey, I'm not going to be good till like Tuesday. Yeah. So like, don't bother me with anything until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Which sucks. You're taking like another 2 days out of your life of like things you could be doing, right? Yeah. So like now no day feels any different. Yeah, there's days where obviously getting home from a gig at 3 a.m. sucks and you don't get to sleep much and stuff like that. But like it doesn't feel like a different day the next day. I don't eat differently the next day. I eat the same thing every single day. I don't need to eat a hangover meal the entire day. Yeah. Like it's sad because I've tried to eat one of my hangover meals recently. And it was disgusting.
No, what was it?
I'm not proud to say it. It's like a real struggle. Like it's a struggle hangover meal, but it's like canned soup.
Okay.
Just like any kind of can, like whatever, Progresso canned soup with just like a bag of Cheez-Its poured into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the soup cooked?
What's that?
The soup's cooked.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean in the microwave, yeah. But
okay, so because I've heard this thing where people started just opening soup cans and are just eating the soup like cold.
I mean, it's in
I guess it's already
like cooked.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I just
not cold.
No,
it's
cold.
Piping hot out of the microwave.
But
I just couldn't. Yeah, Cheez-Its make everything better. But yeah,
so true.
I couldn't even finish it. I was like, I want to love you, and you won't let me love you. I just couldn't. Yeah.
There's so many kinds of foods that just hit different when you're drunk.
Absolutely.
They're probably disgusting when you're sober. Like late night cheesesteaks. Like if I would get that during the day, like I'll probably be like, okay, I don't have to put this in my body right now.
Taco Bell.
Oh,
yeah.
Taco Bell was. Oh my god.
I was just talking about that with a friend the other night. Like.
No, honestly, my taste buds have changed. Like since I stopped drinking, my taste buds have like fully changed. Like like I used to eat like the same thing for breakfast and lunch and dinner every single day, and now like I've tried so many new foods. Like I've tried sushi for the first time like recently, and like been eating a bunch of new foods and stuff, and everything like just like tastes better. Like honestly, like it's crazy how much a toll it takes on your entire body.
Oh yeah.
I know you like to like stay in shape and go to the gym a lot, eat healthy. Have you noticed though, like even though like maybe keeping the same fitness routine, stopping drinking has helped your physical?
Yeah, I got some data on that today, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Right.
I got we don't have to go too deep into it, but since you asked, are you familiar with what a DEXA scan is? So I got a DEXA scan done 3 months ago, and it actually would have been, it was like 5 days before I got sober. So I just got it done to get it done because I was going through these like, probably like, holy shit, I just turned 40, like, you know, mental crisis. Because I have been into fitness my whole life, but the problem is, at a certain point, like your body's like, hey, you can't do both. Like, you can't destroy your body and really care about like being fit. So I was wondering why I wasn't reaching like certain goals and some of them are superficial, some of them are health based. And so I, you know, looked up what the DEXA scan was, and it was like a full body comp kind of thing. And I was like, all right, let me get this checked out. I thought it was going to give me like a little bit of bad news, and it gave me like way more bad news than I thought. Like, especially because I didn't think I was like that overweight. Right? And, you know, most people would say I wasn't. But the numbers that it was giving me were pretty scary. Like where the fat was depositing, specifically visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs. Which I did deeper research into, which is caused by excessive drinking. For the most part, specifically, it's like the largest driver of visceral fat, which is the fat that can cause diseases, heart disease, and liver and all this other kind of stuff. So that's kind of scary, especially like why waste my time? I've been working out since I'm like 15 years old. Why did I waste my time working out so much just to be unhealthy, right? Like, so that was pretty scary. So today I actually had my 3-month follow-up, and I lost a ton of body fat, cut my visceral fat in half, all that kind of stuff. So I attribute, thank you. So I attribute a lot of that. It has to be to the alcohol. I mean, I know it's working out, but honestly, my workouts didn't change too much. My diet tweaked a little bit, but like that's the biggest driver for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it feels good.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Very exciting.
awesome. That really shows that like it's worth it, and it,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's so important too for us to talk about this stuff because we all work in nightlife and we're just surrounded by it.
Oh my gosh,
and, you know,
it's so normalized for us. Like
it's crazy.
Like it's wild. It's like, but also it's so popular now not to drink in the industry as well for the same reasons. Like you know, I feel like people do their partying like I certainly did myself, and now like I've met a lot of other people in the industry who are also sober because of what you see when you're working in the industry. I mean, like I sometimes tell my friends like, yeah, guys, I'm not trying to be like like in like a joking way, but like there is so many fights I see and like crazy things that happen and just like being out at the bar like that, like so many other people don't notice because you know they're drunk and things that I don't want to like. I've been kicked out of bars before. Like I've been banned from bars. Like I just like don't want to like be that embarrassment anymore. And like I'm not anymore, which is great.
The one thing I noticed too, like to give you guys like a little bit of grace too, like in your age range, is in the Philly market. We'll speak about that in particular. There's way more activity. Like I want to say like nightlife. It's not that the industry is bigger. It's just that before it was centered around like, all right, where's this live band playing? Where's this DJ playing? And there was few and far between, and we can get into this later, but first of all, there's more DJs, which means there's more venues hiring DJs, which means there's people going out more, and like alcohol is being pushed more, even alcohol brands and stuff like that. Like there's so many different options, and now there's so many promo events for those, and it's spider webs, right? So there's literally so many more excuses to like party and to get into that. Like before, it was like you DJ'd, like, and they'd give you like a shift drink, like while you were DJing or something like that, or give you like a couple drink tickets depending on where you were DJing at. And I mean, if you were DJing like a local neighborhood spot, obviously you know the people, or like somewhere in South Philly or something like that, they hook you up. But in general, it wasn't like, and I'm not going to put down any of the places that I love the places that we work, but like, not just the places we work, but everywhere around the city, it is like a communal, like, hey, we're all working together. We're all going to get messed up together tonight, right? And again, not looking down on that. This is the time of your life to absolutely like take advantage of that. But it doesn't stop. Like all of a sudden Sundays, and now with Philly sports teams playing well, now it's like, oh, we got to be out on Sunday. I was about to
say that.
That was not a thing before. 5 years ago, there wasn't even DJs at any of these sporting events.
Wow.
Like every now and then a club would catch on and be like, maybe we should have a DJ. It might spice it up a little bit. And people would go walk in and be like, why is there a DJ? Now, any single time there's a game on,
it's like expected.
Somebody, doesn't matter where you're at, you know, whether it's, you know, Trades, Xfinity, Wicked, whatever. It's like, well, now we got to go watch the game there.
Yeah.
No, you don't. But you do because now that's where everybody is.
Right.
So it's almost like it's harder for you to run from it. Like to be honest with you, I probably drank way more in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I drank in my 20s, but like there was less opportunities and there was less people like wanting to like pull me out in networking events and all this other kind of stuff. Like now it's so much more activity. So everywhere you turn, it's a party.
Yeah. You'll burn yourself out pretty quickly. Yeah. Like going from Friday night, Saturday brunch to Saturday afternoon to game in the evening, and then Saturday night out, same Sunday brunch, Sunday game, Sunday night, Sunday fun day at McGillen's. Like it just it's like you just don't stop.
You gotta pick and choose.
Thursday night till Sunday, Monday morning, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy.
Grace, did you say your New Year's?
No, I didn't.
She's been stalling.
I've been stalling. Actually, no.
We stretched that convo out.
Yeah, we really
long
did.
enough.
I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I think. Because, there's a lot of goals I've already met in the past year. Like, obviously, like, stop drinking. That was, like, a huge one of mine. And, like, getting back into, like, health and fitness and stuff like that. I've started to do that again. One thing I really tried to start doing this year is actually take my personal content more seriously. So, obviously,
I've noticed that.
Thank you.
I have.
Wow. Okay, great. So, it's working so far. So obviously I do, I work in social media and I work in marketing and I work for all of our places. And I also am a film videographer and photographer for other places and other DJs and other musicians and stuff. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm working all the time for other places. And I thought that this would be a good year to maybe focus on myself a little bit more and like have kind of a work-life balance. And with that, focus on my own content, kind of come up with like more of like a planning schedule for myself and really take my content seriously and start responding to brand partnerships. And I have like a couple exciting partnerships coming up, like for my own content. I've like, I've, gained like a little bit more of a community on TikTok. Like it's been really exciting to like make many more friends like on the internet and like have like a little like community and more people in Philly, and it's just like been so nice to like see that come to fruition and use my marketing skills, my social media skills from working in social media for 8 years and really apply myself to like my own personal brand. And it's something I really like want to keep doing, but I've really come up with a good like cadence and posting schedule and like the content I want to post. I'm starting to post and not like what I think people want to see, but what I want to post. And I've realized that resonates with people so much more.
Personal connection.
People are liking it so much more. People are actually like commenting back and like wanting to get to know me and like I'm wanting to get to know them. And it's just been great for the past like month and a half. And I'm like it's like been a really exciting momentum that I'm excited to like keep going with. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Guys, so yeah.
Yeah, I like that you like, really harped that you're gonna post what you want to post and not really worry about like what's gonna blow up or like what's like what's gonna catch the algorithm too much. I know you're still worried about that kind of, but
kind of,
but still doing what you want to do.
Like the thing is, it's been so much more consistent. Like so. Beforehand, I went from having like maybe like 100,000 views on one video and then like 300 on another because like I would like try the same thing again or like do something even like slightly differently, but I like wouldn't really like have any personal connection to the content I was putting out, so I was kind of just like throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something would stick, right? Yeah. But now, like I do, it's more of a cadence now. So like I'm making more of a consistent schedule, and I'm also posting like what I want to post about. So like I want to talk about my job and my life, and I want to talk about what health changes I've made. Right. And it's like it seems to be really resonating with people, and I think it's because I'm being so much more authentic with myself. Like that at this point, I like don't really care about the views when I'm posting. I'm so proud of the content that it would be great if it got views, but if it didn't, I'm still proud of what I put out there. And I realize now that the views and the comments and whatever are much more consistent, like across the board. Like I'd rather have 6,000 views on every video for the next month than 20,000 and 200, and that's because I want to build a community. Right. And that's more important to me. So yeah. Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've been trying to have the same mindset too, like with my social media and music that I'm putting out and all that kinds of stuff. Like not really worrying about, is this group of people going to like it, but do I enjoy this music and do I like it? And that's why I'm going to put it out. I just dropped a mix this morning, by the way. NEEK at Night. Go check it out. Episode 1.
It's really good.
Thank you. Nickelodeon, don't sue me, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better watch it.
I always say it's a good problem. If they sue you, that means they saw it.
It's a great problem. I'm not making royalties off of it.
My DJ logo is stolen from a movie.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay, so DJ Mike Lowry, tell us how you got your name, because I learned very recently that it's not your actual name.
Yeah, so usually it hits, I always say it hits a cross-section of people demographically, right? The movie Bad Boys with Will Smith, Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Familiar? Grace? No? Yes?
Nope.
All right, see, there we go.
Sorry.
So Will Smith's character in the movie's name was Mike Lowry. There's anybody who's named Mike at one point who was fond of that movie or friends were, his nickname, quote unquote, was Mike Lowry at one point. It was a long time ago now. I was probably like 22 or 23. my best friend from college from North Jersey. I went up there to visit him. After when you graduate college, you can go see your friends again, whatever. Yeah. We were like a year or so removed. I think we were gonna go out in like New York City one night, and we got back to his house in North Jersey, and one of his boys was there who didn't come out to the city with us, and I was meeting him for the first time. And he's usually like a pretty chill guy. I love him. Shout out to Adam. I love Adam. I ended up DJing his wedding like 15 years later. Nice. But he's like, hey, this is my friend Mike. All he said was Mike. And at that point, I was still DJing, but like DJing wasn't like it is now, and branding really wasn't what it is now. So I was just Mike, the guy that DJ'd. And I had another DJ name when I was younger too, but we don't talk about that. But so at the time, like I wasn't even thinking about that, but I was like just getting like really hard back into DJing. I was probably like 22 and like really focusing my time on it again. And he goes to introduce me to Adam. He's like, hey, it's my friend Mike. And this dude was wasted at the time, right? Like really, really drunk. He's like, I curse. I don't want to like mess sponsorships. He's like, motherfucking Mike Lowry. And my boy just looked at me, right? He's like my best friend. He looked at me. He's like, that's the one. Wow. I was like, shit, you're right. And I just ran from then on. It was way more relevant at the time, obviously. And like, it still catches certain people. The great part about it is like, for people, like some people have DJ names that are like, just like so, say like, they're very topical. Like they're very like, they're hot right now, but they won't make any sense in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes, that name is less relevant, like in the sense that like you don't get the reference, but it also just sounds like a normal name.
I was gonna say, I thought it was your name.
I just sound like a nice, like I'm a nice Irish kid. I'm not Irish, by the way, but like,
Lowry, like that's obviously his government name.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And it's not that much of a stretch. So like when I introduce myself, I'm like, hey, I'm Mike. Yeah. They're like, hey, I'm Mike Lowry. I'm like, yeah, because my name is Mike. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It's not a stretch at all, and it'll forever like bridge that gap for me. And then, but I was getting the logo redone. I've had a couple different logos over the years, and then the guy who did my last logo mocked it up and basically stole the font from the Bad Boys like movie poster, and it hit, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll keep that.
Wow, that's awesome.
And if I get sued for it, fantastic.
That's the logo you have now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
I love that. That's great.
So if they see it, cool, thanks. And then I'll change it, but until then I won't.
Yeah, right. I think, Sam, did you call that? Did you say that about Bad Boys? You're like, the guy, or his main character is Mike Lowry?
NBA Youngboy like always says Mike Lowry at the beginning of his song.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, Kanye, everybody has it in their songs.
Do you use that?
No, I have a couple drops, but I use a bunch of drops from the movie itself.
Okay.
Which don't hit as hard now, but people don't know that's Martin Lawrence saying it.
Got it.
But for the people who do know it, it's good. And then like I want to add, I don't think I have Lil Wayne queued up. Like we know the one that Lil Wayne says in a milli, but there's a couple. I'd have to look up how many. G-Eazy, the White Mike Lowry. Everybody likes that one. So I do that one. Like I like that song in general, but like I play it just for that.
Yeah.
Because I am the White Mike Lowry. So
that's awesome. Let's get into like, how'd you get into DJing?
Sure.
Tell me, please.
Where do you want me to start?
I want to know about your first gig at the Grace with the sauna behind the.
Oh shoot!
Very specific question.
DJ booth.
Yeah, that was my.
Okay.
That was my first ever. That was my first ever gig I ever played in Manhattan, and that was I don't know. I'd put a year on it. 2010, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna mess with the years. Probably 2010. From my day job, I was working with a kid who was from North Jersey, who was a promoter in Manhattan. It's one of those you need to know somebody. Like Manhattan's still like that. There's like some entertainment companies and stuff.
New York City's like major with that, so promoters and all that kind of stuff.
It was eye-opening though from that standpoint too. So he told me about the gig. He told me what went into it. I brought a bunch of people out, which every up-and-coming DJ has to do. And I get there. Now the more important part, like Grace was saying, it was at the Grace, which is who wouldn't want to party at the Grace? It was just weird. It was a hotel. It was a boutique hotel. Like there's a ton of boutique hotels in Manhattan. I forget what neighborhood. I'm going to screw that up, and all my New York people are going to judge me. I forget. I have to look up the address. But I could say Midtown and be close. I'm just not really sure.
Yeah.
But it literally was a hotel with like a pool, like it was like a wading pool. It wasn't even like a complete pool. It was almost like this little spa, and the pool was like not in the lobby, but like pretty darn close. Like you walked into the hotel, like through the main entrance. And they would literally like sell bathing suits there, like if you wanted to buy a bathing suit just like to party there. And their VIP tables were not like around the pool, but like above, and it was like a pool party, but that was the entire club.
Wow.
Like you just danced around the pool, so it was pretty cool. Problem was, This is 2000. Yeah, like I said, 2010. So to get like to equipment, nerd out on equipment, digital equipment existed, but for the most part, people were still using like Serato control vinyls. So like real actual vinyls.
Yeah.
And you have like 120-degree sauna behind you, which is warping the vinyls. Like, while you're playing them.
Shit.
Yeah. So like people kept coming in and out of the sauna. We're like, shut the door.
Yeah.
It was, and then not to mention like the heat and the humidity coming off of the pool and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was an experience. I got a lot of cool pictures, and my friends got to see me DJ in New York. I always say with those kind of opportunities, especially your first couple before like you're really like legit and the gig is you. Like I always say there's a difference between a gig you got and a gig you were sought out for.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not to put down anybody. I wasn't sought out for that gig. That was a favor that somebody did for me. I don't remember if I got paid or how much I got paid. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But like, just take whatever you can from that. Take like whatever you can learn musically from that, whatever you can learn like politically from that. Just take it. Don't think that every single one of those is going to be like a movie and you're going to get so much great content out of it or whatever. Like, just take it for what it's worth. I had some great moments of that night. I had some shitty moments, like, whatever. But yeah, that was interesting for sure. Starting DJing.
Yeah.
What year are we in right now?
2024.
So this October, this October will be 25 years since I bought my first set of turntables.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, first set of turntables in 1999.
Older than me.
Right? I don't think I have them anymore. I think I gave thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Denise.
You have been DJing my entire life.
Wow.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. But
That is a compliment, right? Yeah, well experienced.
So
seasoned vet.
Yeah.
something like that. Tell my lower back that. But yeah.
True. You need a stool up there, honestly.
No, I'm trying to find like the right spot so I'm not like leaning like this by the end of the episode. But yeah, I just loved it. I was always involved in music. Family's all musicians. I tried every instrument, but I never would like commit myself to it. And my mom was really tired of buying me a bass and then buying me a violin and luckily all, whatever I didn't use, my brother and sister just picked it up and taught themselves because they're like musical geniuses. But I started like really what got me into DJing. People laugh because I don't want to tell a lot of people, but like it was a different time. I was rapping for like probably like a good 5 years. Yeah. And no, there's no footage.
Something?
What's that?
Give us a little something.
Nice chance. No.
Yeah, come on, I'll put a beat on, right?
Yeah.
Put an instrumental.
Little vocal
It was a
sample for the
different
next
time,
NEEK at night, right?
That was like where like Marky Mark and Funky Bunch came out.
It was when this guy was out. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, some shady.
Yeah, something like that. So, so that got me into performing.
Cool.
Point being, and I met a DJ who was DJing for me at the time. He was a kid from, I think he was from Queens originally, but moved to my town in Reading, PA. And he was a break dancer and he was a DJ. He was like this like essence of like, hip hop and all this stuff. And he taught me a little bit about DJing, and I just caught the bug. I begged for a set of turntables for my 16th birthday. And my mom, got me, it was like the most basic, and as she should have definitely got me the most basic, so I didn't deserve anything else. And these were, have you played on turntables at all before?
No.
Okay, so these turntables are one thing. They're difficult enough to begin with. These are what's called belt drive turntables, which literally that's the motor is powered by like a small belt. Right? Like,
Oh, yeah, right.
like whereas like a regular turntable, if you would just buy one now or buy like a Rain 12 or something like that, it's direct drive, which is just like a battery motor that keeps spinning.
Like same thing as like Rev 7, like basically.
Yep. Yeah, similar. So that would be like more like direct drive.
Right,
So
right.
belt drive is literally like a belt. So when you would like scratch, you'd have to like catch it. It's like a belt drive is a turntable like your grandparents would have in their house, just like sitting around, regular turntable.
Yeah.
So I learned how to mix on like those turntables.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad. So, but I proved myself. Like,
Yeah.
So like whatever the next birthday or the one after that, I got like some real official ones, and then just did the regular route that everybody does in high school. I DJ'd every party that anybody ever had. My first gig was I'll try to speed through it because there's too much. First gig was like just cutting. Because it's 25-year question.
Yeah, I know.
First gig was a graduation party for like some upperclassmen in my high school.
Yeah.
I remember I had like, I'm not even joking with you, I think I had like mono or something like that, like the flu, but I refused to skip the gig. There's a
had to
picture
do
of
it,
me.
yeah.
And I'm like, my eyes are yellow. Like I'll never.
Oh my God.
It was an outdoor gig. Like I'll never forget that. Like my mom's like, you really should stay home. Like, no, this is my first DJ gig. Like
I can't
not
blow this.
missing this gig. And I made like, I made a lot of money for my age. I probably made like $175, and it was the coolest day of my life, right?
Yeah.
It was a pool party as well, so there's a theme.
Love
Yeah, so did that, and then that just caught on. Then I was everybody's DJ in high school. I made some great connections that I still have to this day. At that time, it was still only vinyl. So I found this record shop in my city and just immersed myself in it. I would go to the record shop every Saturday and I would bring my records. And the guy who owned the record shop was a really good DJ. He still is. Shout out to H. Fidel. He's been on radio everywhere in the country. He's back in Reading now. And we still keep in touch, but he would let me just spin in his record shop every Saturday.
That's
so it was
awesome.
Practice, you know what I mean? I could play at my house, but it was better to be out and around people and be around we were talking off mic before we started, not to make it like an old timer podcast, but the only way you had to find out about the music, right? And you had to to buy a song, literally buy a song to play. It was $7.99 for every single time, and I'm buying that with my own money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm making from Red Lobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
With my fish shirt on. And I'm like, what am I going to spend my $7.99 on? When you go to download something from a record pool, and you're like, let me just download these 30 songs. Real quick,
Yeah,
see if
you
one
couldn't do
works.
that. Right.
That's so easy.
I got to
I
page
do.
through
I
this
have
and
it
be
way too easy.
this song better be a banger. Otherwise, I just wasted $7.99,
yeah.
right? So it was thumbing through that every day, and then he would put me on to certain stuff. I'll never forget. He put me on to Nelly when Nelly came out, and we could all be like, oh, everybody knows Nelly. That was weird as shit when he came out. He was this guy from St. Louis that nobody knew about. His voice sounded strange. He was singing, but he wasn't really rapping, and the beat sounded strange. And he was like, "This is the song. Trust me."
Wow.
All right, man, I'll try it. And it went on to be and that's why it's good to have mentors around you and stuff like that. So went all through high school with that, went to college. Now, when I went to college, he moved away, which kind of not blaming anything on him, but he was a mentor. He was somebody who was driving me in that. At that exact same time that happened, they stopped mass producing vinyl, which is a big thing. But they also, Serato wasn't readily available the way that it is. Sorry, I'm nerding out on the tech stuff.
No,
but
it's good.
DJ software that everyone uses now wasn't readily available, and it wasn't cheap. So I went from being a young DJ with this mass collection of records where I was the man, to now popular music isn't being pressed on vinyl anymore, and now I have to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to convert. The time in between, you had to convert everything to digital, to CDs.
CDs, yeah.
I would have had to buy all new equipment to play those CDs. I would have to take everything from vinyl to CD, which would have taken forever while, carrying 16 credits and a dual business major. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This sucks. So I kind of put that to the side, and, I would DJ some parties in college. It sucks because people just assume oh, you probably went crazy in college. I'm no, timing is everything. And my timing sucked when I was in college. So for all that to be happening, and honestly, truth be told, I was dedicating my time to other stuff. I was enjoying myself. I don't make any regrets there. But once I got out of college, got a day job and a career and all that other kind of stuff, I was still DJing parties on requests from people. But again, it wasn't we were talking earlier. The market wasn't it wasn't like people were knocking down your door to DJ.
Yeah.
There was only maybe, I say, in Center City, Philly. Well, it wasn't Center City because Old City was probably more popping than Center City was back then. But either way, whatever the popping neighborhood was in Philly, I don't know. There was maybe 10 DJs, literally 10. Think about it. You can name 10 off the top of your head right now.
Oh my
You can name
God.
10.
Yeah.
You can name 10 that he doesn't name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
I can only name 10, period.
Right.
That doesn't mean there wasn't more than 10, but there wasn't that, there were places that were the place to go, and it wouldn't even be a DJ. It would just be a guy in the corner with a CD book, just changing songs. But we didn't care because our expectation was so low of it. We just want to go out and have a good time and drink a $3 beer and whatever. But point being, there wasn't as many opportunities, so I didn't even feel that pressure. But when I hit 25, something hit me like a brick, and I was I miss really doing this, not just oh, Mike, you used to DJ, right? That question just like bothered me. I'm like, no, I do DJ. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do. And I, that's what like transformed me back into like making it my full focus.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yep. So that's the first chapter. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Ask whatever you want, but that is the beginning of it.
That's very awesome.
Nice.
How has it been like transitioning from like music style? So like you I can still see now like your love for like Nelly and like other artists like in your current DJ sets.
Yeah.
But like we live in such a, you too, we live in such a TikTok trend music cycle
God.
right
Yeah.
now. So how I guess, young new DJ, seasoned vet DJ, like how is it different? Like how do you like, is that difficult for you to add in? Like, is it hurt your soul to like add these things in? Or is it kind of just like, is it harder to read the crowd? Because, everyone's attention span is, it's a 6-second sample of a song and on to the next. Like what do you think?
That last part makes the biggest difference, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because even the songs they want to hear, they don't actually really want want to hear.
Okay.
And that's the shame about it. I'm not going to do like the back in my day, like songs used to stay around longer. They did used to.
No,
like
absolutely.
it was so
Scientifically, it's
just like it was harder. Yeah, it's all like so. Just like it was harder to be a DJ, it was harder to be an artist. So there were less artists out there, which means there was less songs, which means the songs weren't coming out as often. So like a Ja Rule song that I bought for $7.99, that shit lasted me for like a year.
Yeah.
I could play that 3 times at one party and nobody would care. I mean, I tried not to. But
Yeah.
It would get requested though. They're like, I want to hear "Put It On Me" again. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
Again.
and by the way, they still want to hear "Put It On Me." So like, good music is good music, right? But like, I could play, 3 full verses of a song, whereas now they just want to hear the chorus.
Oh yeah, just one verse and then
Just like,
get out.
think of like whatever song. When we record this podcast right now, the song that you would name right now that you're playing the most, we could record again in 6 months. It's not going to be that same song. It's just not, and that's I'm not hating on that song. It's just the way that the market goes. So
Right.
Right.
It's a combo of giving them what they think they want with what is actually going to keep them going. That's how.
Very psychology based.
Oh, it's hugely psychological. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say is your personally your favorite music to listen to?
Oh man, it's always it's never anything I play out. Honestly, like
Yeah,
I love like
I feel that.
my favorite subgenre of music, like I just kind of like a niche kind of thing. I love 80s R&B, which is a very forgotten. I love 90s R&B obviously because everybody's iconic 90s R&B, and I grew up on 90s R&B, but I love like 80s R&B, funk. I love house music actually, like older house music, like not that I don't like new house music, but like old like Chicago house and like New York City underground house from like late 90s and stuff like that. Like if I'm just listening by myself, that's it. Or like I like West Coast hip hop, like really chill West Coast hip hop and stuff like that. But I listen to all the stuff I play, but when I get in my car, like it's not what I'm throwing on. Like it's not.
I'm surprised you don't sit in your car in silence.
I do. I drive home.
Absolutely would
Yeah,
drive home in
that's
silence.
silent car ride. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
such a
the
big
best.
thing.
DJs
Yeah.
understand that for sure. Anybody who works in nightlife understands that. Like, yeah. Peace and quiet.
Oh my god, yeah.
Sure.
Especially after like a really crowded night that's sweaty, you
Mm-hmm.
just get in your car and you're just like, take a deep breath and you're like, okay, time to go home, go to sleep. Especially like when people are like want to go out afterwards and stuff. I'm like, no, I gotta go.
I haven't done the after hours too much over the last couple months. I did do a couple after hours sober to circle our conversation back to that. That was,
Braver than me.
yeah, that was interesting because I loved after hours. I was like,
do too. I've not done it sober. Though.
I was like the afties king, but
Same.
like, yeah. And I've DJed after hours for years too, so I was used to that time frame. But
Yeah.
like, the DJ would have to be doing like a really good job for me at this point to
Right.
to keep me out at that point.
Special.
Yeah.
It's funny too, like us DJs are almost like a little spoiled because we get to cut it right at 2. Like think of other cities like New York or I know like Chicago, like Romby says like they go till like 4 or 5 a.m. sometimes. Like that's insane.
There's different spots, for sure.
But like thinking about like not starting your set sometimes until 2 a.m. Like that's crazy thing to think about.
Yeah, that's how it was like for me at recess. I mean, I DJed at recess for years, and it was I would set up my equipment at 11, and we would always, so the place was open on the books from like 11 to 3:30, right? Like that's like the posted time online. Right. And I would always get so pissed off at like the one person who was like visiting historical old city and Googled bar. And like went there at like 11:01. Like, bro, nobody shows up till 2:15. Like, because like the rule was back then, not to like out anybody, but like the whole staff, including the DJ, would go. We'd set up like 10:30. I put on a couple mixes. So there's at least like music in the background in case like a Ben Franklin tour came through or whatever, and like legit. And like so we would go, and then they'd be like, hey, just be one phone call away. Don't go too crazy. Don't get too drunk. But we would go out, and we would basically like. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but like the after hours clubs will go out and like promote at mainstream clubs. It was like this like little partnership. Like the Gardendale people would come into Ubon and we'd shout them out on the mic, go to Gardendale afterwards or whatever. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I've seen them, but it's not as like much of a community doing it that I've seen in the past. And so it was like a thing. So like the recess staff would go somewhere, and then every now and then I get a text like, somebody just showed up. And it's like 11:45. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Like I had all another hour.
I was looking for, and that, again, so spoiled. Like my gig when it did go according to plan, my gig was like 1:45 to 3:15. Like it was
a true headliner.
It really was. But there's also like some pressure in that, and you can talk to this too. Like most DJs, not all, some guys, turn the switch and they're on, but like most DJs have to work into it a little bit.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
mentally you have to get yourself into it.
Yeah.
The one part that was nerve-wracking about that gig was like I would show up and there would be nobody there and we'd go from nobody to a full house. So I gotta turn it on right away.
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta remember, you can't space it out. Like as much stress as a 5-hour gig is, I assure you an hour and a half gig is pretty stressful too.
Oh, I believe that.
Because now you're like, I have to make sure everything I get in this time.
You got to hit a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot. Definitely.
Let's hop into. I wanted to ask you about your pup. I know she's like huge. In your life,
it's my girl.
You're always posting her. She a rescue?
Yeah. So both my boy and my girl. I had a boy and a girl for 9 years together, 8.5 years together. I got both of them in 2014. I got Memphis first in April of 2014. Then got her 3 months later in July. I thought he needed a sibling, and they were together for like 8 or 9 years. I got them from ACT in North Philly.
Awesome.
On Hunting Park Ave. Just took a chance, and I don't know. They loved each other immediately. They loved me immediately, and then and so that's also like kind of catapulted itself into like something I'm passionate about. Not just like wanting to adopt in the future or promoting for other people, but like even just to bring it back to DJing, like I try my best. No offense to anybody out there, not to do like too many charity gigs. Not because I don't care about charity, but I think charity gigs beget charity gigs, and I have a really full schedule and a full-time job outside of DJing, so it's not really what I would lend my time to do. I don't do it for tax benefits or for PR look. So I decided that the one charity that I will forever donate my DJ services to is like animal rescues and stuff like that. So like I've done like events for like Street Tales and Northern Liberties, and if I can't do it, I promote another DJ. Like I'll plug another DJ in to do it for them. And I did their Halloween costume contest one year. It's one of my favorite gigs I've ever done. I got to like announce like each of the dogs and what they were being.
Stop.
The one dog dressed up as the house from Up, and that's who won. It had like
Oh my god.
yeah, it was really cute. But yeah, so it's got me really passionate about that. It's got me more passionate about the breed. Both my dogs were pit bulls, and I love all dogs. It's not people think it's like, oh, you only like pit bulls. It's like, no, it's just I got a particular connection with them, and they got me through some seriously tough times in my life, as all dogs do, as all pets.
They're the best. I love dogs.
Yeah. So they got a special piece of my heart. And then I lost my boy about exactly 2 years ago, and now it's just me and my girl, and we're looking to add, but we just got to find the right fit.
Add to the fam.
Yeah, she's got center of my attention right now, though.
I love your stories with her.
Yeah,
She
thank
makes
you.
me so happy just like watching her.
Yeah, she's just like so youthful. At 12 years old, like nobody believes she's 12. So
I would not believe that.
I relate to her too. I'm young at heart as well. So
Yeah.
Wow. Should we finish with crazy night out?
Yeah, sure. Let's do
We
that.
ask everyone what their craziest night out was, and if you've got 25 years of memories, I'm sure you have a
Yeah.
good one.
Oh, I wish I wouldn't have showed up if I knew you were going to ask me this.
That's what we said for last,
Oh, that's a surprise one. One of the coolest, most like just like down to earth experiences ever. I played the pool, and T-Pain was their guest that night.
Cool.
And I feel bad because I think I told this story on another podcast, but I don't care. It's for me, it was like one of those like wow kind of moments. And I got to like hang out with him all night, just
That's
like
awesome.
hang out with him. Like he stayed during my
Very
whole
cool.
DJ set.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'll forever tell that story. I've met a million other people.
Yeah.
Like I've opened up for anybody you could possibly think of, and that it's awesome to say that. But like all of those interactions were very like, I lie. Paris Hilton put me on her Snapchat story.
Oh, wow. That's
One
awesome.
time. That story I did not tell. So no offense to T-Pain, it was a good time. But Paris Hilton. So I was at the pool, opened up for Paris. Paris had a monthly residency there.
Slay.
Which was,
love her.
she's something else. And what's great about Paris, right, is that like what everyone would assume, because we're on a first name basis. What's great about her is that like what everyone would assume about her is like this like, simple life, like being like so stuck up and so mean. Like she was by far like the sweetest
That's
woman
awesome.
in the world.
Yeah, it's so cool.
She's awesome.
Like she showed up with her, I believe it's the guy that she's currently married to, I think, unless it was a different guy and just looked exactly the same. But like she showed up with this guy who was like her handler, her manager / her boyfriend now, fiance, husband, whatever. Lucky dude is, whatever all I'm saying. But I mean, he's set for like it's a career, right? Like Walker, like hold your billionaire wife's purse. But so they show up to do sound check and stuff like that, and I'm there and I'm accommodating them. And so it was if you know how like the pool DJ shifts work around the headliners, like open and close. So like open and the headline and close. I'd been DJing there for so long. I don't really like hang out for the headliners too long. I stay close by just in case, but check in with the sound guys, make sure everything's cool, and that kind of like, hey, text me if you need me kind of thing. Depending on who the DJ was, I would stick around a little bit closer because some of the headlining DJs were a little bit incompetent, if you will. This one, I was like, they got it. Paris has been here a million times.
Yeah.
She literally plays off of a USB stick. It plays constantly, and she just claps her hands. And she does a great job.
Queen.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Great job. She performs her little song in front or whatever. And so anyway, the point is they were like somewhat normal when I left them.
Okay.
And I got back, and they were wrecked. And like, I have to, you know, when you're doing those opening closings, like your job is to basically like, for the last 15 minutes of their set, stand there like an idiot, just in case they get too drunk and would just want to walk off. Like I've had DJs like just like cocky ass EDM DJs literally cut their sound like without like waiting for me. And mind you, I'm ready, but like I can't. There's a way that DJs have to do it seamlessly, and there's like a courtesy to it. So like I'll say like, hey, one more song, or like, hey, it's got 30 seconds left.
Right.
Favorite, cue up
BPMs.
Cue up yours. Yeah. Sorry for whispering on a podcast, but like so like
We're actually in the DJ booth at the pool right now.
Yeah. Okay, just listen. Yeah. So like I'm up there doing like the, you know, sitting on my hands kind of thing, like waiting for Paris. She's partying, like, and it's going like over her time. But you can't tell them that, and I also don't care. I'm getting paid the same either way, and getting paid to stand in the booth with Paris Hilton, whatever. Life could be worse. So I'm up there, and this is why, like, I constantly, we've talked about this before, Grace, like, I kick myself for not being, like, social media savvy enough. So in my defense, I don't think Instagram video existed at the time.
It didn't.
Right, like I'm almost positive. It was like 2015 or 2016, something like that. So Instagram video didn't exist. I could have taken a video on my phone, found a way to put it up. I wasn't active on Snapchat at the time, but she's going nuts. And I was just like, kind of like politely, like, you know, like, hey, Miss Hilton, whenever you're ready. Like, because I knew for damn sure, like, I knew for sure that she did not know when her like pre-recorded track was going to end. Like, so like, and like whoever put this together for her, like whatever DJ did it, they had like some bangers on at the end. They had this like a Wonderwall mashup. And she's like singing Wonderwall to the crowd. It was amazing. So like I said, this wasn't like a crazy like run through the streets naked night, but it was a fun night. So she's doing all that, and then like I'm just like playing it close. And he's like shaking my hand. He's being super cool with me being up there. And she's like, gets on her Snapchat story, like starts singing to me on her Snapchat story, puts her arm around me, like starts filming me, like the crowd screaming and stuff like that. God. And I'm just holding my laptop like a jackass, like not knowing what to do. Like, you know, like, I don't know, she gave me a kiss on the cheek or whatever the hell she did, but like.
God, I would have thrown my laptop in the pool.
All of that was happening. And then when it was all over, I was like, now that's gone and no one will ever believe me. So like, let this podcast be evidence that it absolutely happened. Ask Frank. Next time you talk to Frank, it happened.
Okay.
So yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
Is awesome.
That's my crazy night.
That is great. God, I love her.
Real quick, what would you say, if you can name it off the top of your head, it's the worst gig you've ever done? Most, whatever, if it was stressful or disappointing.
No, I know what I'm gonna name. It wasn't the worst gig, but I'm gonna call it the worst gig because it should be like a cautionary tale, because especially because we started off this podcast talking about like doing the right things for your career, talking about sobriety and all that other kind of stuff. I always said like I had, and this is to anybody who like messes up an opportunity, or a younger DJ who's like, damn, that was supposed to be the gig, like that was supposed to be the one.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a bunch as long as you don't really fuck it up. You're gonna get a bunch, right? So. Where the Winston is now, there's a building next to it. They're building a club in there as well, but that's always been a club of some kind, right? Like McFadden's was where Winston was. Okay. Next to it was a couple different places. There was Tiki Bob's, and there was a place called Johnny Utah's. After Johnny Utah's, it was a place called Buckhead. Buckhead was it was owned by like some Southern company from North Carolina or whatever, but anyway, it was one of those times in my DJ career where like I wasn't getting like a ton of opportunities. This is like maybe it's like a little shortly before the time that Jason and I started doing business together. So still a really long time ago. It's probably like 15 years ago. And I had a friend that was working the door there, a girl from South Philly who was working the door, and she's like, hey, we're a little slow this summer. We're looking for DJs. Now, for like a responsible DJ, that would be a time to like seize the moment, right? Yeah. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this because it is what it is, and Philly nightlife is what it is, but it was worse back then. This management had a different opinion of what they wanted their clientele to be. And, you know, I don't want to make this about that, but this unfortunately plays into it when you're DJing, right? Yeah. Because I want to play to the crowd in front of me, no matter what. And so I was doing that. All of that would have been fine. Like me bucking the musical parameters a little bit would have been fine. Yeah. The issue is And this is why I always say, like, my older friends that are around my age are like, man, that's so great. You're doing so well with DJing. Like, I wish it was like that when we were 25. I go, I don't. And they're like, what do you mean? And I go, because we would have died or got arrested, or I would have had like 5 kids by now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I am so glad that things happened for me when they did, that like stuff started taking off when I'm like 29, 30, 31.
Yeah.
Because I'm still immature now, or, you know, I'm getting better, but like I was nuts back then. So figure I'm 20, I don't know, 27 or something like that. And this is when Four Loko, this is actually probably the craziest night DJing. This is when Four Loko original recipe was out.
Oh my God.
The stuff that was, they tested in the lab, they said was as close to liquid cocaine as you could get. Yes, so to put it on top of that, mind you, this is a bar with a liquor license that sells alcohol. It's a huge bar. It's very, like, they have mechanical bulls, like a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
It was a really good time. I was, I guess, more of an alcoholic than I thought I was back then. It was me and my 2 boys who came out, and I brought into this club to DJ 2 personal cans of Four Loko original recipe.
Oh, so you were having a night then, huh?
But I didn't see anything. But forget about that. Like, you're not even supposed to bring any beverages into a bar. Just from an etiquette standpoint, let alone Four Loko, right? Like, so I'm just
full throttle.
And then to our other conversation about like where the DJ was located, if I was like in the corner, okay. They had, I can't even describe it. It's just a huge place. They had me on a folding table in the middle of this like elevated platform on the dance floor.
Wow.
And I am chugging like a strawberry kiwi.
Oh my God.
And so like by the end of this night, like I'm saying like F the musical, you know, suggestions.
Yeah, you just do whatever you want.
This guy, like the management's flipping out. Basically the end of the story is like, you know, my friends obviously got drunk. I obviously got drunk. I almost didn't get paid. Like it was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I obviously never got asked back again. Happy ending. They got sued for a class action racial discrimination suit, as they should have, for a bunch of other reasons that led to what I was implying at earlier.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I almost didn't get paid at the end of the night because I was like, no, this is about me and this is about me partying and whatever else.
Yeah.
And that opportunity could have led to another opportunity, which it didn't, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so that was my worst gig, like that I'm not proud of.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It happens. Four Loko makes it happen.
Terrible.
God, I can't imagine that. Jesus.
Awful.
I try to just sip on nurse a drink now.
Like I've never done drugs before, so like I don't know how close it was to that.
The actual cocaine.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just know that like I have not one good thing has happened while I was
off of Four Loko, drunk off Four.
not one.
Those are huge when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
All the kids getting it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Disgusting. Oh,
Really
God.
disgusting. So good though. But really so good.
Yeah, well, I think that's it for this episode.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Lowry.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Guest number 1 on season number 2. Thank
Yeah.
you
I'm honored.
for joining us.
Yeah, season number 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're back, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.